Alvey has what I'm sure for many people, including myself, is a dream job. He rides roller coasters for a living. His website is themeparkreview.com, and that's where you'll find information and video on pretty much every thrill ride in the world. Robb's been in over 1,500 coasters. Along with his wife, Lisa, they have helped develop products for Disney, Universal, DreamWorks, Paramount, MGM, many more. This guy has a well-paying job riding roller coasters. If you got any questions about roller coasters, past, present, or future, this is the man to talk to. Robb, welcome to the Bob Rivers Show on 95.7 KJR, and I understand you're calling right now from Kings Island Amusement Park in Cincinnati, Ohio.
That is absolutely correct, guys. Yeah, we are having a roller coaster fun-filled day here in Cincinnati. How's it going over there in Seattle?
Well, it's going great, but I got to say, our area is pretty roller coaster deficient. We do have a Wild Waves that's got a little bit of action, and I'm sure you're well aware. But our Fun Forest is kind of closed down, and I think we have to go to Silverwood in Idaho to find a serious coaster around here.
You got to go to Silverwood, but you guys still have one of the classics in your backyard. Do not underestimate the Puyallup Woody. That is still. Such a fun ride, and it's one of those older classics. They don't make them like that anymore, so it's still a good ride.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you is, are you a wood guy or a metal guy? Because I love the old wooden track roller coaster with the big slow climb and the big downhill. That's my kind of coaster.
There is something about the old classic wooden roller coasters where, you say like, oh, they don't make them like that anymore, and they still do make wooden roller coasters. So. But those classic ones, that they made from the 20s to the 50s, there's just something about that feeling that you just cannot reproduce, in today's time. But no, I'm right with you. I love the wooden roller coasters.
Pedro, our producer Pedro Bartez, is a big fan of your videos. He says you need to talk. He says you need to talk to this guy. It's amazing that what he does on the web. You get millions of hits by riding roller coasters. When did you realize you could start making a living out of doing what's essentially fun?
Well, we always say, I grew up working for Disney, and my wife and I, she worked for Six Flags, and we just really enjoyed travel. We enjoyed traveling. We enjoyed travel through theme parks, and we always say we were blogging about roller coasters and parks kind of before blogging was what the cool kids were doing. So it just kind of happened by accident. I used to be in the entertainment business more, and I would do videography and everything. So I just had a passion for taking video of roller coasters, and that just turned into a YouTube channel with, we've got over 250,000 subscribers now, and we have some of our videos all over the internet. So it's exciting for us. It's not something we really did on purpose, and it just sort of happened.
So you can go over to, say, I know there's some big roller coasters in Europe. Give me an example of a really awesome roller coaster in Europe.
One of our favorite roller coasters is in Germany. It's called Expedition G-Force. I highly recommend everyone to check it out online. But it's just one of those roller coasters. It's almost like a steel version of a wood roller coaster where it's just big hills. You throw your arms up in the air. You kind of get what we call airtime, which is that feeling of being lifted up out of your seat. And it just feels like the most out-of-control wild ride. And we've got a couple of them like that here in America. But, Europe, there's just something about their rides. I think they're allowed to get a little tiny bit more out of control. But, it's fast and furious.
Oh, my God. This Expedition G-Force is nauseating to watch on video. Oh, my.
So,
yeah.
Well, it's crazy. And it's so much fun, too. It's one of those rides where it's like, it looks crazy and intense, and it is. But, man, it's one of those rides you see everybody on the train. They have their hands up the whole way around. They're laughing. They're having a good time. They're screaming like little girls, and that's what it's all about.
Jody's showing me the video. It looks like a must ride. And now that you have told us about that, you get to write off your whole trip to Germany. That's your job, right?
There you go.
That is
people will love it too.
That is amazing.
Hey, Robb, I'm wondering, are you a front of the train guy, a back of the train guy, or is there one better than the other, or is it up to each individual?
It really depends on the type of ride it is. Now, I'll tell you, kind of like a pro tip, most wooden roller coasters, I prefer to ride in the back seat, or at least the back car. And here's another pro tip for you guys. I usually prefer to ride in the front seat of the back car because you still get that out-of-control, crazy air time, that fun whipping around. But most wooden roller coasters have a wheel that will sit right underneath your butt when you're in the very back seat, so you'll get more of that vibration and a little bit more roughness. So if you want the smoother ride but still the out-of-control feel, sit in the front seat of the back car on wooden roller coaster. So hope that helps you guys out.
Now, the some people like Spike, we talked about you when we signed on this morning. I said, I think this may be my dream job. I would love to do this. And Spike says, man, I could not do this. I would get sick in a minute. As much roller coaster riding as you do, there's something to be said for the front, because if somebody gets sick, it's not going to affect you. Do you ever get any shrapnel from something like that?
It has not happened yet. Knock on wood, coaster, it's not happened, and I hope today's not going to be my unlucky day now that we mentioned it.
Now,
hope you guys don't jinx it for us.
Well,
I hope we do.
Today you're at Kings Island in Cincinnati. What are you going to ride?
We started off the morning. We're doing an event up here where they opened up their brand new roller coaster, Banshee, for us. It's one of the inverted roller coasters where the track's above your head, your feet dangle, and you go upside down, crazy amount of times on it. So we rode that. We're going to head on Diamondback, which is another big roller coaster. And then tonight they're opening up one of the most classic wooden roller coasters in the world, the Beast. And they're going to turn off all the lights, and we're going to ride that sucker out into the woods, into the darkness.
Oh, man. That
Dude,
good.
I'm throwing up now.
What's their policy on cell phones and riding a roller coaster? Is there any way you can call us while you're riding?
I wish I could. Most parks, they do not allow cell phones while you're on the roller coaster for sort of obvious reasons. I know I definitely could hold it if I had to, but most guests out there, they probably get a little bit more freaked out, and the last thing they want is for that cell phone to end up in somebody else's face.
Even if you say, don't you know who I am? I'm Robb Alvey from themeparkreview.com.
No, even if I say that, they won't let me, but it's fine.
Hey, Rob, my daughter...
I am standing right underneath, I think, one of the tallest roller coasters in the state. I'm standing underneath Diamondback, looking up at the very top of the hill. I want to say it's about 230 feet in the air.
Wow.
It's still pretty big.
You're making me jealous. I do love a good roller coaster.
No, and they have some good ones out here at Kings Island.
Go ahead, Spike.
We love visiting the park.
Rob, my daughter just moved to New York a couple years ago, and she was never a coaster girl, but she has fallen in love with Coney Island. And the Cyclone, is that the one that's out there, the old school coaster?
Yeah, we're going to be up in Coney Island in about 10 days, and the Coney Island Cyclone is still, to this day, probably the most classic wooden roller coaster in the world. The ride has changed very little since it opened in the 1920s, and it really gives you that out of control, especially, and that's a ride, Coney Island Cyclone, you want to sit in the very, very back car. And that is a roller coaster ride like no other. It throws you around like crazy.
As a guy who's got a weak stomach and I've done coasters, but I've never been able to get past the this is killing me moments. Is there something I could do or eat or avoid to make it more bearable for me?
Honestly, it really kind of depends on where you ride. The more towards the front of the coaster that you get, I always say the back of the coaster is about the wild ride. The front of the coaster is more about the visuals. When you sit towards the back, you definitely feel forces a lot more. You feel the speed. So if you're someone that gets a little bit more motion sickness, I would say stick to sort of the middle of the ride or towards the front. And then honestly, we know people that are roller coaster enthusiasts that do get motion sickness, and they just pop a Dramamine pill, one of the 24-hour ones, and then they're usually okay the rest of the day.
They're good to go. Well, you're the guy. You're the main guy who blogs about these and puts the videos up. I'm assuming you get free admission, especially for an event like this.
We work out good deals with the parks. Yeah, definitely.
Now, I'm betting they'll still make you pay through the nose if you want to pop balloons or knock down some milk jugs to win little stuffed animals.
You know what the worst part is? It's not the park. It's my 7-year-old daughter. We bring her, and she's like, Daddy, I want this, I want that.
Right.
So we're playing games and doing stuff throughout the park. So she hits us with it hard.
And do you also have a website that rates like elephant ears and corn dogs and stuff? Because there's got to be you must eat a lot of carnival food.
On our park index on themeparkreview.com, we do have a section in there. And I'd say we have park guides for probably the top 150 parks in the world. And we talk about everything from best strategies to get through the park, best ways to do lines. A lot of parks have unique food items. Some of the parks, like I know Cedar Point has Pink's hot dogs. Knott's Berry Farm has their famous fried chicken. Kennywood has their fries, and we talk about all that stuff.
I've been to Knott's Berry Farm for the fried chicken. The biscuits are a little heavy on the soda, but the chicken's awesome. Eric Corman has a question for you here.
Yeah, I do. Rob, we talked earlier about us having just a little theme park in Federal Way here in the Seattle area and Silverwood over in Idaho. What would it take to get a real theme park, like a Six Flags, up here in our area? Is that even possible, and is there anything that we can do to make that happen?
Joey, what would it take, do you think?
Do you think that an area can actually petition a company like Six Flags to build a real theme park?
Especially an area where it rains like 9 months out of the year. Do we have the kind of season that would allow for a real bona fide, big-time destination theme park?
I always said there's like 3 or 4 locations in the country that definitely should be able to support a big theme park. Seattle, Houston, Miami. And I'm always shocked that nobody has tried to tap into that market because, Seattle is just such a great city. And, we've been there several times for the fair and for other things. And, we're just always shocked. It's like, they've got, what is it, Wild Waves, Enchanted Forest. And I know at one point Six Flags is trying to build that park up a little bit. I just, I think it'll just take someone, with obviously a lot of money and really a good game plan. But I can't imagine why Seattle couldn't, sustain a park like that. So, here's crossing fingers that eventually one day it'll happen.
Well, your knowledge of roller coasters astounds me, and I guess it shouldn't because I've been to your website, themeparkreview.com. Spike?
I got one final question for you, Rob.
Sure.
Front seat, sure. Probably keep me a little settler at the tummy, but what is proper etiquette for people you've thrown up on? Is it I'm sorry enough? Should I slide them $5-10 for dry cleaning? What's...
I think like a good, solid apology. And, honestly, it depends on how much splash damage that you do. If it's a few chunks here and there, you can probably get away with like, hey, look, like we'll just go sort of work things off. If you hurl all over someone, you probably at least got to do the dry cleaning bill and maybe like a good park T-shirt or something.
That's good etiquette.
Okay, there you go. Fair enough.
And my final question, we'll let you get on your roller coaster. Pedro says, you will not believe how much money this guy makes riding roller coasters. And I don't need a to the dollar figure, but in a range. Are you getting 6 figures a year for riding roller coasters?
I will tell you that, it's done well enough for us that we could basically create a business out of it, and it's a lot. I'll tell you, it may not sound like it, but it is a lot of hard work keeping up with social media and producing the videos and, the tours that we put on. I always say it is the hardest working job I've actually ever had, but it's also the most rewarding.
Well,
so I'll kind of leave it at that.
He's getting rich riding roller coasters.
Making $1 million, Joe. I make more than the president, I can tell you that.
I guess I should have said 7 figures. Well, congratulations, Rob, taking your passion and turning it into not only income, but a great life for you and your family. I mean, your daughter is having a dream childhood. Her job is...
She loves it. We have such a good time.
Cool. Well, we'll let you get on that roller coaster. Robb Alvey, if you want to check out his videos, and they are incredible, themeparkreview.com, and you can submit stuff there as well, right?
That's correct, yeah. So we have the forum on there. We have people all over the world that do trip reports and photos. So if you're a roller coaster fan and you just, even if you just want to talk about your favorite roller coaster, you can sign up for the forum. You can have an account. You can talk about roller coasters, what you like about them, and write reviews yourself.
Right on. Well, have a fine weekend. Enjoy the roller coasters, and we'll check back in with you maybe when it's Puyallup Fair time. And that's not coming up too far from now.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. We love the fair, so if you ever want to chat about it, we love talking about the history of that place.
All right. Appreciate it, Robb Alvey in Kings Island Amusement Park in Ohio. It is